Welcome back. Joining us now is Yozika Kauapirura, who's here to talk to us about the exciting new true crime series called Desert Crime. Now, the show explores some of Namibia's criminal cases that have shocked the nation over the years, with a special focus on murder investigations. Through interviews with investigators, psychologists, even forensic scientists and other experts, the series unpacks the stories behind the crimes and the impact they've had on society. Yozika, good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this is very interesting and exciting, I must say. I don't think we've got a reality sort of series like this happening on the MBC right now.
No, we don't.
So this is what makes, Desert Crimes then unique, and talk to us about how it was initially conceptualized.
So we understand, of course, that there are crimes that happen in Namibia and elsewhere in the world. And sometimes we think of these crimes happening elsewhere abroad, like it's US-based or it's European-based, when we have these extraordinary cases, right? And news bulletins, like we do at NBC, cover the basic questions: who, when, where, why, and how. But we wanted to delve into that just a little bit more further, because some of these headlines or some of these stories are just forgotten. As soon as the bulletin is over, they just forget about it, or it's just another story, it's just another crime that happens. And so we wanted to shed light and bring life to these stories, even though they've been told before, but we wanted to really delve into the whys and the hows and the who, because beyond just the headlines, there is a person. And so I feel like this was the perfect time. We feel like this was the perfect time to release this. We do have a reality TV show about crime as well, on the street. And I think we also drew inspiration from that. Because what happens when these people are arrested? What happens after that? And so we wanted to delve into that.
There are indeed a lot of crime stories within Namibia that has shocked us. The headlines that we've seen splashed across multiple, local newspapers. So how did the team go about selecting what stories you are going to tell and what stories aren't worth telling?
So there's no such thing as a story not being unworthy, right? Some headlines, some stories were easier to select, not because they are easier to tell. Every story was difficult to tell. As I am a presenter, the host of Desert Crime, they were all difficult to write about. They were all difficult to talk about as well, because they all were gruesome. Somebody died at the end of the day, right? Some stories were easier to choose on the basis that they had more of that shock factor, like the Thomas Florian case that we will be releasing on Saturday as well on our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And that is a case that has kind of lingered in the Namibian society. It's like, how could somebody commit such a gruesome crime? But that's not the only gruesome crime, and we wanted to kind of explore that. So it is about how it shocked the nation as well. That's what made us choose these stories. As well as some of these stories they do touch on general stories. Yeah. So it's not unheard of. It's not like a one-in-a-lifetime story that might have happened. We do cover GBV. We covered just recently the Rachel Rittman case and Reno Dupree, who killed her husband to get money. And there's parasite that happens in Namibia as well, where children kill their parents to be able to get money from that life insurance coverage and so on and so forth. So it's a general, it's to lead into the discussions or the crimes that have already happened.
Outside of speaking to investigators, perhaps on the police end and psychologists, etc., did you guys also manage to speak to some of the perpetrators?
So that is something that we are looking forward to in season 2. It has been quite, it is investigative journalism at the end of the day. And investigative journalism takes time, because you need to make sure that it's accurate and you're going through the correct channels, right? So I wouldn't want to say that we didn't have necessarily enough time, but that is something that we wanted to do very, very accurately and properly and go through the correct channels. Yeah. So hopefully season 2 we're gonna have something there. Yeah.
What were some of the challenges in putting Desert Crimes together?
So there were quite a few challenges. I believe that if something is not challenging enough, it's probably not worth the while. Every production has a challenge. One of the biggest challenges, I will say, was getting visuals, right? Because they date back. Some of these cases date back to 1998, 1999. But because NBC has covered a lot of stories since independence, and we have been able to archive most of the footage, all of the footage, since we aired in 1990 till up to now. So it's been properly stored and organized, and that's how we were able to kind of, there was a solution to some of these challenges. So other than getting still photos, which you can't really, especially for cases before 2010, it was quite difficult to get that. So we had to go to the High Court of Namibia to get some of these photos and then get archival footage as well. But even if I couldn't find it in the archives, or maybe they couldn't find it under the correct name, it was on YouTube as well. So that was one of the challenges, but NBC had a solution for that, which I'm really grateful for.
Fantastic. And I mean, well done to you and your team for putting in the work. It can't be easy, digging up stories such as this to be able to retell to the Namibian nation. I'm sure they're all wondering, when is it airing? Where is it airing? Where can we catch it? So tell us all those details.
So our first episode already aired last week, Saturday. If you want to watch it, if you missed it somehow, we do have it on YouTube as well. So it's available on YouTube. It's available on Facebook. The first case was Rachel Rittman. If you just search Desert Crime, or if you just search Rachel Rittman, our episode will come up. So it's on Instagram, on NBC Namibia, broadcasting, in Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
So Saturdays, what time is it airing?
So it airs after 12 o'clock on Saturdays. Yeah.
Saturdays at 12.
Yeah.
And what can we expect from this week's episode? Are you allowed to tell?
Of course I can. So this is a case that has been covered, that most Namibians, if not at least 70% of Namibians know about. It's the Thomas Florian case, who he had killed his wife. He butchered her. But this episode features Commissioner Niels Becker. He worked on that case as an investigator. So he shares insights on how that case unfolded for him and what it was like, first-hand experience, and then retelling the story from our end, from NBC's end, which I talk about. So it is it's a new way of telling the story, and it has the visuals. So I should say,
you don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it, but also viewers' discretion is really advised. There is sensitive images there,
Fantastic.
But it's interesting.
It's riveting.
Really interesting. Oh, enticing.
Yozika, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing, how the season unfolds. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, there you have it. Desert Crimes airing on NBC on Saturdays at 12. And of course, if you happen to miss an episode, you can catch up on the episode on YouTube as well as on our Facebook pages. So make sure to follow all our social media for that. On that note, we wrap up today's edition of the Daily Roundup. We're back, of course, tomorrow, same time and place. For myself and the team, good night. Thank you for watching.